Welcome to the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm Nichole Eaton, author of the books Rock Your Soul and Rock Your Comeback, as well as an intuitive therapist, and I'm here to remind you of your power. This podcast focuses on mindset and inviting the universe in to create a life that feels so good, so aligned, and so authentic. I hope you're ready. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm your host, Nichole Eaton, intuitive therapist and author of the books Rock Your Soul and Rock Your Comeback, the down-to-earth guide to reclaiming your power, which is out today. So if you're like, Nichole, you're doing a podcast on a Tuesday? What is it? It's because today is the official release date for Rock Your Comeback. This is a book I've been working on for 4 years now, and it has been a labor of love. It's been a process. It has challenged me in all of the ways, which I'm going to talk about today, the lessons I've learned from writing a book. And it's been something I'm really proud of. So you can get your copy and you can best support me by buying it on my website, but you can absolutely buy it on Amazon. You can buy on barnesandnobles.com, on target.com, walmart.com. So you have the ability to purchase it pretty much anywhere. So I'm really excited and really grateful for the opportunity to get this book in your hands. It's been so much fun to write, hard to edit, and all the other things that have come in between when you're writing a book. So like I said, you can support me by buying directly through the website, but also you can support me by leaving a review. Specifically on Amazon, even if you purchase anywhere else, you can still leave a review on Amazon, and it matters and it counts and it really helps indie authors. The other ways that you can support, even if you're like, I don't have money for a book right now, that's okay. Share on social media, send this podcast to somebody, share, comment, like, all of those things really help. And they really help us indie authors get seen. So it's always deeply appreciated. So thank you so much for being supportive and being patient. Sometimes it's been taking such a long time that a lot of times I feel like people are like, oh, are you just making it up? But it's here. It's real. The cover is adorable. It's got a cute little pink spine, and I can't wait for you guys to hold it, touch it, and tell me what you think about it. I want to know. I want to know everything. I want to know what you think. If you have a negative review, don't put it on Amazon. You can send it directly to me. I'll read it still, but that would be important and helpful to me that you don't do that. So for you, anybody who's like, what is this book even about, Nichole? What is it going on? What has it got going on? This is the down-to-earth guide to reclaiming your power. This is about you stepping back into the power, into the position in your life where you are an active creator, where you are making choices, where you are challenging the ways that you're thinking and doing things. You're creating healthy habits. You're connecting with your intuition. You're learning to trust your gut. You're stepping back into the power as a co-creator of the universe. And this book really walks you through every layer of healing. There's 5 parts. There's the part in the dark that walks you through when you're really stuck and you feel on autopilot, or if you're in a black hole moment where something awful has happened and you're just trying to find your light again. You're just trying to find hope again. The second part is all about exploring what has been normal. What are your expectations? What are the rules you've created for yourself? What are the things that are maybe not normal that you've deemed as normal because you've been doing them so long? What are ways maybe you've abandoned yourself? Who are the people in your life? And then we go into part 3, which is, of course, my favorite part. And this is really how our thoughts work, how they tell our brain what to see. And then we go into all the tools to change your mind. And then the 4th part, which is the part in the light, talks about connecting with your intuition and trusting the universe and understanding how energy is impacting you and your mental health. And then the last part, part 5, is this really big culmination of all the thoughts, all the awarenesses, all the stories that you've told yourself. And we put them together to create some really big magic and manifestation. So combining energy and thoughts. So it really has something in there for everyone. And one of the things that was really important to both me and my editor is that we just chocked it full of tools. There are tools in just about every chapter that you can do tonight, that you can do tomorrow, that you can do any day of the week. And that's the most important thing. Is it's nice to have ideas of like, oh, well, I am this way because, but having the awareness and then doing something differently in your daily life is what makes all of this writing and all of this work go somewhere. So don't just read it, work it. let it be a place where you can like really reflect and do something different in your life. The process of writing a book is really challenging because it's like a lot of little ego deaths, right? So when you're in a space of writing and you're writing particularly vulnerable things, or even just writing things about neuroscience. I am a master's level mental health counselor. I have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree, but my editor really was like, who are you to write about this? Why do I even trust you? Why should I trust you? And it really pushed me back into a place of like, no, I know all of this stuff and I've known it for years and years, but I really had to go dig through and find every inch of science to support everything I was saying, even though I know it's true. I work it. I learned it in master's level programming or other places, but so this entire book has science backing in just about every part via the request of my editor. So just know there is science in there. There's things that will genuinely scientifically bound to help you. But breaking down into, okay, so what did I learn about myself, about writing a book, about the process of going after your dreams or goals? A lot. I learned a lot, but I broke it down into 3 things. Okay. So my biggest one that has come up more recently is to stand your ground. If you have a vision for yourself, it's good to be flexible. It really is. But there's also a point in time where people, when you start to enter more positions that are filled with more powerful people, that they are used to running things and doing things without consulting you, asking you, or caring what you think. And so I've been pushed to my limits with having to stand up for myself, fight for myself. And alongside that, it's come with not falling into a victim mentality. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was in a situation with this book cover, which is why I'm so obsessed with it, because I love it so much, because I fought so hard to have it how I want it. And I was in this situation where I just kept thinking, this is not fair. Like, how come every time I hire somebody to help me with something, or I take on and have somebody else do it for me that's supposed to be a professional, that I'm like let down, or it's not treated fairly. And it took me a while to get out of that victim mentality, because it's easy to have when you push yourself out of your limit and it doesn't work. It's really easy to be like, oh, well, this always happens to me. And every time I feel this way, and why doesn't anything ever work out for me? Right. So standing your ground comes with saying no. It's saying, this is not what I asked for. Please do this again. This is not what I wanted. I need it changed in this way. And that's something that's really challenging for me, to not fall into that victim thing where I'm just, victim to whatever whirlwind of everybody else around me, but really standing in my power to say, no, this is my vision and I want it to look exactly how I want it to look. How do we make that happen? I was sitting with my business coach after one of my meltdowns throughout this whole book writing process. And he said to me, Nichole, I know you're an emotional person. I'm a triple or a double Cancer, but you have to remove your emotions. This is what the scenario is. What are you going to do from here? And that alone has helped me in a lot of different ways, because I am emotional. And sometimes getting emotional means getting caught in your stories. And getting caught in your stories isn't taking you where you want to go. It's just circulating you in your stories. So this is your sign, if you're somebody who's working on your dreams or goals, that you get to set your boundaries. And you also have to step out of your emotions to be able to effectively set those boundaries. And you have to get out of your emotions to decide what happens next. Okay, that didn't work. What are we going to do? We don't need to wallow. We don't need to stay in it. We don't need to play victim to it. We step back into our power and move forward. So that was one of my biggest lessons recently, is standing my ground, setting my boundaries, and standing up for myself in areas that I maybe traditionally would have let it go. The other lesson that I learned is to take big risks, go bigger, try for bigger. Who cares? Okay. This is something that I want to instill in everybody who's listening. Dream bigger, go bigger, ask for more. There is an entire book called, I want to say it's called Influencer. There's a great book. If I find it, I will attach it. But the woman basically says, she has her students trade up a paper clip for the biggest item they can by just asking for more. And so I was reading this book. I remember I found her off the Ed Milet podcast, and I'm really sorry I can't remember her name right now, but I will put it in the show notes. She had people trade up, and some people traded from a paper clip to a car. They were able to make small trades all the way up because they were willing to ask for it. And so when I was writing this book, I was really excited about what was coming through and what kind of order of events and how it was shaping up. And I really wanted a good editor. And so I ended up reaching out to this New York Times best-selling editor on Instagram. And for whatever reason, she decided to work with me. And she even said, Nichole, I have no idea why I agreed to work with you. I never respond to my Instagram DMs, but I was willing to ask and put myself out there, and it worked amazing. And now, if nothing else, I can say this book has been edited by a New York Times best-selling editor. And I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. So the next and last lesson that I've learned from this book writing process also means that when you're asking for more, you have to be willing to get rejected. You have to be willing to collect no's. I was scared to ask this person, and luckily it worked out, but there was a real chance she was going to ignore me or say no. There's been other things that I've reached for along the way that have been straight no's. People have not even considered me, or people have said some really awful things in the process. When you're going after your dreams and you're doing something that you feel called to do or you see in your head, you have to be willing to take the no and not take it personally. You're not the right fit for that person for whatever reason. It doesn't have any reflection on your value. So when you're reaching for more, the biggest thing is to hold your head up, to just start asking everyone and anyone the things that you want, and working at it in the process, finding your own way, making your own path, but be willing to get rejected. Rejection isn't your essence. It's not a denial of who you are. I mean, there's a million people on this planet who got rejected from something they're fantastic at. Now, I remember Oprah in an interview saying that she was told that she would never be a journalist because of whatever reason. And, obviously she's Oprah. So there's people in the world who are told no, but they kept going. And I think that's the thing with success is you have to keep going. You have to push past the no's, but you have to be willing to ask to get no's. You have to be willing to ask to collect no's. I made it into a little game after a while of things that I was asking for, and the things that worked out far surpassed the things that didn't. So keep that in mind, that asking for what you want is important, and being graceful with rejection is also important, and not taking it and attaching it to your worth. And the more you're able to ask and the more no's you get, the easier the rejection gets. The first few times stings like a bitch. I'm not going to lie to you. It was rough. I was like, oh, what am I doing? This is a really bad idea. It hurts a lot to have somebody be like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. But at the end of the day, it really matters and makes a huge difference to be willing to ask somebody. In the last 6 months, I've asked a lot. And a lot has come. There's been a shit ton of no's. I've probably had 65 no's in the process, but a lot has come. And I'll probably write about this in my next book. So we'll see. But this is your sign to dream big, to stand up for yourself, and to be willing to be told no. There is power in standing in your power. There is awesomeness that happens from it. And as much as I believe in mindset and manifestation, I also believe in action. And this is part of it. If you see something for yourself, do not settle, do not wait. Go after what you want. Be willing to hold the vision and trust the process, even when nothing around you is looking like what you want. I mean, I didn't know if I would even have these books for my book launch. That's how down to the wire we were with everything. And here I am holding it in my hands, and here I am sending it off to you. So if it resonates, if it sounds like something that feels really good to you, I hope that you pick it up. I hope that you leave me a review, and I hope you really let me know what you think, because again, this was a personal process. This is the most vulnerable book I've ever written, but it's also a book that I wrote to the version of me 10 years ago that couldn't keep the lights on and was struggling with her mental health and felt really insecure. It is the handbook of how I got out of my way. It's the handbook for how I personally walked out of my depression back into myself and into my life. And I really hope that even if it's just one person that this benefits, that you reach out and let me know, because again, it means the world to me. I am sending you all my love. Let me know how I can help you guys. It's been an absolute wild ride, and I hope you keep rocking your comeback. Bye. Make sure to keep an eye out for my latest book, Rock Your Comeback, The Down-to-Earth Guide to Reclaiming Your Power, out this summer. I'd love to connect with you. Make sure to follow me on Instagram or TikTok at NicholeEaton.xo. Thanks for listening to the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take on the world. Now go step back into your power. The world's been waiting for you. But first, if you could, leave me a review or share with a friend. Thank you.